You're watching Goal.com's mid-season review, and we're focusing on the biggest clubs in Europe. Time to talk now about Real Madrid. Peter, hideously out of touch in the league, so Champions League is obviously the focus. They've really got no choice, actually.
Yeah, they're a long way off Barcelona's pace in La Liga. They have had a difficult few months at the start of the season. Mourinho claimed that he didn't recognise his team at one stage. This was the side who beat Barcelona to the title last year. But I think when you strip away all the bluster from Mourinho, I think the big focus this year is the Champions League. They really want that that famed 10th Champions League title, to the extent that Iker Casillas said a few weeks ago that he would take finishing 25 points behind Barcelona in La Liga if they meant winning the Champions League.
And you think that would be Mourinho's priority again this season? It was an absolute crushing blow last year to lose in the semi-final on penalties against Bayern Munich, and that's what he was brought in to do as well, to win the Champions League. Mourinho doesn't do more than 3 seasons at a club. This is his 3rd season. The rumours are already flying around Spain that he's going to leave at the end of the season. He would like nothing more than to do it on a high by winning the Champions League.
Well, there's potential jobs out there as well for him. I think that's the thing when you look around. Will he go back to Chelsea? Don't know. Man City might be available. So Alex Ferguson's not going to go on forever at Man United. So there's potential jobs around. You know, he said he wants to come back to England and manage for him to come back to. The Champions League is his dream. I'd be surprised if he left Real Madrid without winning it. I think that is his ultimate focus. I think he really wants to do that. Obviously, last year he won the league, which was great. Pit Barcelona. This year they're off the pace. I don't think they'll win La Liga. I don't think they'll get close enough to Barcelona now. But Mourinho's got that dream of winning that Champions League for them. So I just think he might stay a little bit longer. I mean, Gareth Bale's been talked about coming into the football club as well. He does build teams for the now rather than the future. But that Champions League is still the one that he'd like.
Do you think what's going to happen to Mourinho is also similar to what might happen to Ronaldo? Is if he wins the Champions League with Real Madrid, that'll be it. He'll go somewhere else.
I don't know about Ronaldo. I think that's an interesting one. The question is, where else is he going to go? I mean, and where's he going to set his ambitions? You know, PSG. Well, I don't know. The only reason you go there at the moment is probably for the money. But with Real Madrid, I still think you can realise the ambitions. It's one of the biggest clubs in the world of winning these, World Player of the Year titles that he has eluded him so far because of Lionel Messi on the scene. Champions Leagues, titles. Would he go back to Man United? I mean, that's another potential destination. But again, I just think that Ronaldo's there for a while yet.
The only 2 teams that could seriously sign Ronaldo are PSG and Manchester City. They're the only clubs in the world that could afford an 80 to 100 million pound deal. They're the only clubs in the world that would pay him 300 or 400 grand a week, which is what he wants. Personally, I think it's all a game from Ronaldo. He's making it clear that he's unhappy, and so is his agent. It's all a game to get a new contract. He's still their star man. He may feel unloved in the dressing room, but he's their star man. I'm pretty sure he'll eventually sign a new contract, but
he might be unloved because of how he is or whatever in the dressing room. But I can tell you, I don't care how sulky he is off the field. If he's doing the business on the field, you don't particularly care about that as a player.
Played against him?
Yeah, played against him.
What's he like on the pitch?
Well, he's a fantastic player. So someone you don't want to come up against too often. I remember one game against Charlton where he did about 20 step-overs in front of Graham Stewart, who was playing on the right-hand side of midfield. And after about 5 or 6 seconds, Graham Stewart had enough of it, just booted him in the air. And that's the sort of player he is. He does make you angry. But if he was on your team and he's winning your matches, you forgive an awful lot about what he's personally like in the dressing room. But it doesn't really matter about that.
I think what the Ballon d'Or debate has done over the last few weeks is maybe obscured a little bit of bad form for Cristiano Ronaldo. Obviously, he was untouchable, in my opinion, towards the tail end of last season. But this season, he hasn't quite scaled those heights for Real Madrid, and they have struggled. I think it's no coincidence that as Ronaldo's form has dipped ever so slightly, that Real Madrid find themselves even further off the pace, off Barcelona's pace than they would have been otherwise. So I do think that there are some tweaks that Mourinho could make to his team, maybe not necessarily to his squad from the outside, but to his team maybe to alleviate that pressure from Ronaldo, and maybe ask other players, maybe the likes of Luka Modric, who was a big summer signing and hasn't really excelled, but maybe ask the likes of Modric to give a little bit more.
Last word on a couple of players that might leave at the end of the season. Kaka, maybe?
I think Kaka could leave in January. I think it's very realistic that he could be heading to the MLS to play for LA Galaxy, who of course lost David Beckham now, so they're looking for a marquee signing, and Kaka fits the bill. He's actually started playing a bit more recently, and he's playing quite well. But Real Madrid were hawking him around to just about every club in Europe during the summer. So Mourinho's made it clear that long term he doesn't think Kaka has a huge future. Similarly, Ricardo Carvalho is being frozen out. So those two could leave. In terms of incomings, I think they'll wait until the summer, and then they'll make a big move for Gareth Bale. But that could depend who the manager is. All
right, thanks guys. That's Real Madrid dealt with. For all the news and analysis on them and all the transfer activity coming up over the next few weeks, go to goal.com.